Good evening and welcome to the Your Secret Weapon to Getting a Job After College webinar. My name is Beth McAllister and I will be your technical producer and moderator this evening. Our webinar this evening will be presented by Leanne Ross. But before we start this presentation, I just want to take a quick moment to make sure that you are familiar with your GoToWebinar control panel. So on the right-hand side of the screen, you will see your attendee control panel, and then on the left, you're going to see Leanne's presentation. So that control panel can be minimized or expanded depending on how much of your screen you want it to take up, so feel free to customize that. A couple of features we'd like you to be aware of for this evening's presentation. Number one is the questions pane. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation for Leanne, please feel free to type those in and we'll make sure we can get those questions answered for you. Also, if you have any technical issues with the GoToWebinar system, please feel free to also type those in the questions pane, and I'll be happy to help you out in whatever way that I can. The other thing that we're going to be using this evening is some poll questions. So Leanne is going to ask for those questions to be brought up, and if you can just place your vote in the multiple choice answers there, we'll get to see kind of what's happening across our audience this evening. We're going to ask that if you can try to stay attentive and interact as much as possible during the webinar. The quality of your experience definitely depends on your attention to what's going on. So try to avoid some distractions like avoiding responding to emails or checking out your social media. If you don't mind just disconnecting from all of those other things for about an hour and just enjoying the time here with your sisters. If you do need to step away for a moment, please don't close the GoToWebinar window, as you'll be required to log in again if you want to rejoin the session. The webinar is being recorded this evening, and the online archive will be available to view on the CAPA website in approximately 2 weeks. So if you have no immediate questions, and I don't see any coming in, I'm going to turn it over to Leanne to get us started.
Thanks so much, Beth, and I appreciate all of you joining us this evening to talk about getting a job lined up after graduation, before you graduate. So, Beth, why don't we go ahead and pull up that first poll, and so you guys can fill that out while I tell you a little bit about myself before we get started. I'm Leanne Ross. I'm the CEO of, do I need to click anything here to get the poll, Beth?
It's up right now for our attendees.
Great. Just wanted to make sure. I can't see it from my end. So
okay, yeah, it's all up there right now, Leanne.
Perfect. Great. So I'm Leanne Ross. I'm the founder and CEO of Ivy Ladder. I have run very large corporations, and in my experience found that a lot of the younger people that were trying to get jobs with us or trying to get promoted within the organizations really struggled and had a hard time being able to do so, and recognized the fact that it was really through no fault of their own, but they just hadn't been given the right guidance to be able to understand how to do those things effectively. And so made it my mission to start an organization that can help provide support for high school and college students to learn how to most effectively make that transition, namely what you can do today so you can have success when you launch your career and later on down the road, because there are a lot of those things. So today we're going to talk about just a handful of those things. Now, Beth, will there be a way for me to see the poll results here?
Can you see them up there?
I cannot. Let me see if I open the control panel, if maybe I can. I don't
I can
see them.
know that everybody who is attending the webinar tonight is a senior in their academic programming.
Awesome. So that helps me to know where we're coming from, and I can make sure to tailor it to all of you seniors out there. So first, did you know that 83% of college students graduate without having a full-time job lined up in their chosen field? That's right, 83%. And after your years of studying and hard work, do you really want to end up in a retail or a restaurant job that isn't taking you in the right direction? Probably not. If you're like most grads, you want a well-paying, rewarding job in the field that you've pursued through school. But unfortunately, 83% of people aren't able to get that. And so we want to focus on today what we can do to help you line yourself up for success so that now you have a few more months before graduation. Hopefully you can take some of these lessons learned and apply them to make sure you can get that job lined up. So let's do poll number 2. What % of online job applications do you think actually turn into jobs?
So we'll give you just a few seconds here, probably about a minute to answer that, whatever you think. So we've got about half our attendees voting, so we'll give you about another 30 seconds to decide what you think. Oh, I have everybody voted. All right, fantastic. So I'll close that poll. And so Leanne, our results are that half of our attendees think that 1% is the percentage, and the other half think 10%.
All right. Well, one of the easiest ways to make sure that you don't end up slinging lattes is by building your personal network now before it's too late. And why? Well, the half of you that selected the 1%, because less than 1% of online job applications actually turn into jobs. I have so many students that I've worked with in the past that use the number of job applications they filled out online as a badge of honor. So Leanne, I've applied to 100 jobs. Like, wow, look at me. But the problem is they're really wasting their time. And you're wasting your time if that's how you think you're going to find a job as well. So instead, what do you need to succeed? Well, the reality is, if you want to work in the field that you love, you're going to need a connection to the company or the hiring manager in order to be able to stand out and get the job. But you're probably thinking, well, how the heck am I supposed to do that? Well, there's a few key things that you can start doing now so you can build your network beyond family and friends. One of the first recommendations is working with a mentor. So Beth, why don't you pull up that third poll? I'd love to see how many of you actually have a mentor today.
All right, so that poll is launched.
Great. Mentor can be somebody who actually says, yes, I am the mentor, but it can be more of an informal relationship, like an advisor of yours or a professor of yours who you call on for advice as well. So do you have anybody in your life that you would call a mentor?
Okay, we've got all of our attendees voted, so I'm going to close that poll. And Leanne, I hate to tell you, but none of our attendees have someone they consider a mentor.
All right, well, the good news is you still have time. It is not too late. The recommendation is to find someone in the career field that you're really interested in from. It could be an alumnus from your school, could be a fellow CAPA sister, maybe a professor. If you've worked in the industry, even from a part-time job perspective, maybe it's a past boss of yours who can be willing to guide you as you make that transition from college to career. Once you have that person lined up, study the moves that they've made and actively ask them for advice so that way you can find out what has worked really well for them. And then you can also ask them for introductions to the right people for either the company or the industry or a specific hiring manager that you'd really like to talk to. The second thing I recommend doing today is doing informational interviews. Now, if you already have a dream company or two that you know that you would love to work at, my recommendation is to reach out to people there, whether you know them or not, and request an informational interview. So ideally, if you know someone, then that's perfect. Or if you can get an introduction from a mentor or a family or a friend of yours that could introduce you, that's ideal. But if you don't, that's okay too. Using LinkedIn is a great resource, or there's many others online to find out people that work at a specific company. When you reach out to them and do it in a way that's very disarming and ask for an informational interview, say, I just want to pick your brain and learn what it was like to get to where you're at in your industry. I see you're very successful, and if you could spare 20 minutes to have coffee with me or to meet at your office, I would really appreciate it. You'd be shocked at the number of random people that don't even know you that are willing to help you out because you asked like that. Once you sit down and meet with them, in person is better. On the phone is okay too if that's what they offer. Ask them what it's like to work at that company. Ask what the company's goals are. Ask what they personally did to get them to where they are now. And the goal of this is not to do anything other than research. But who knows? If you impress them, they might just ask how they can help you. And if they do, then make sure you're prepared and you have your answer ready. Whether you ask about a potential job shadow, maybe an interview opportunity at their firm, or just an introduction within the industry. It's a great way to confirm if that company is a place you'd like to work, first and foremost, and then it also can help you get your foot in the door at the same time. Remember, it's who you know, not what you know. Let's pull up that poll number 4. So now that you know what an informational interview is, I'd love to find out how many of you have ever tried this strategy before. Have you ever done an informational interview?
Just another few seconds to get the rest of our attendees to vote here. Fantastic. You were all really quick on that one. And Leanne, 75% say yes, they have done an informational interview.
Awesome. That's so fantastic to hear. The more of them you can do, the better. And I find that this is one of the absolute best ways to be able to get your foot in the door at a company. So keep up the great work and keep on doing them because you cannot ever do too many. The last piece we're going to talk about today is experience. Definitely get as much experience as you can through part-time jobs, internships, projects, volunteering. One, because employers want to see experience on your resume, but learning through doing is also a really great way to build your network and to be in the right place to hear about opportunities. The key to making this strategy most effective is to choose positions related to the career field that you want to get into, and then to show up and do an amazing job, because the impression you leave will determine whether it can lead to further opportunities down the road for you or not. Now, knowing your experience and just the fact that you are on this call today obviously shows that you are dedicated to wanting to do what is absolutely the best for you. And you probably have been very involved in Kappa and many other things as well. The good news is you can plan, and that's great. But at a certain point, you definitely have to be able to take action and take everything to the next level. Beth, do you mind putting that link in the chat bar for everybody to see?
Absolutely. I'm going to send that to everybody right now. It should be appearing in your chat window. You'll see a hyperlink.
Great. So today we just went through a very, very high level of a few different things that you can do today to help set yourself up for success to get that job lined up prior to graduation. But a lot of the students that I work with really want even more guidance from really a step-by-step process to help give confidence that they need to build their network and land a job that they love. And so we have our online program, Student Career Academy, that helps to teach you the tactical skills necessary so you can establish relationships that are going to kickstart your career. And Kappa has generously offered to be able to offer to you free trial, special access to the Student Career Academy for a couple of weeks. While you're in there, the link is right there, and we're going to be sending out an email, I believe, afterwards as well. You'll be able to find out how you can identify the right people to interview and how to make a great first impression. We'll teach you how to find open positions that aren't posted publicly by using your connections. And then we're also going to teach you how you can build your personal brand so that every action you take is very true to you and helps you reach the results that you're looking for. You can definitely get the confidence and clarity that you'll need with really practical and real-world advice on how to find and get that job that you are going to absolutely love. So you're welcome to click on that link that Beth put in the chat bar to sign up for your free trial of Student Career Academy. And then, like I said, I believe we'll be sending out an email with some additional information and details as well. So now I'd love to open it up for Q&A, any specific questions that you have about this specifically, or any other topic related to careers, job searching, networking in general.
All right, ladies, so just take a couple of minutes there. If you do have any questions for Leanne about the amazing information that she gave us this evening, please feel free to type it in the questions bar, and we will get those questions answered for you. Leanne, I'm not seeing any questions coming in here.
All right. Well, my email address and phone number are right there on the screen. Feel free to write them down and reach out to me separately if there is anything that I might be able to help you with individually. And I, again, thank you so much for joining Beth and I this evening and talking about the things that you can do to launch your career successfully. I wish all of you seniors the best of luck.
Thank you so much, Leanne, for leading our session, and thank you to all you ladies who joined us this evening for your participation. Again, if you have any more questions or comments about today's topic, you're welcome to email Leanne. Her information is right there on the screen for you. And if you have any questions beyond that and you have lost Leanne's information or just have generic questions about our webinar program or any of the other webinars that we're offering, please feel free to email us at education@kkg.org. As we close out the webinar this evening, you will see a small survey pop up on your screen. It would be wonderful if you could take just a few seconds to answer those questions. It helps us plan for the future webinars that will be available to our members, and especially to all our seniors as you start joining your alumna life. What types of things would you like us to present webinars on for you? So thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Have a wonderful evening, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.